Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul. I was rooting for Tyron. I swear I was rooting for Tyron. But man, y'all some suckers. Y'all some suckers. Told y'all motherfuckers. I said that dude was gonna lose. I swear I was rooting for him. But like I said, what do you know? He took the L. He took that L, boy. Took that L. Everybody, oh man, Tyron, you know, he won UFC matches. He won MMA matches. So, okay, what relevance did that have in a boxing ring? Zero relevance. Listen, winning UFC matches, okay, that's like saying, all right, he beat him in Mortal Kombat, so he must be able to beat him in Street Fighter. Yo, two different games and two completely different rule sets, and now it's real bad. Yo, it's real bad because now Tyron is begging for a rematch with the YouTuber Disney Kid. He's begging for a rematch with the Disney Kid, and it's real shame because imagine you being a former big-time UFC defending champion begging for a rematch with a Disney Kid, because that's what they kept on wanting to say, the YouTuber Disney Kid. That's a shame, you know? And like the thing is, I look at it like this. Now they talking about a rematch. A rematch, bro, it shouldn't even be the discussion. Of rematches shouldn't even be a discussion. You should have kicked his ass. Come on, that's like Amanda Nunes losing to Lizzie McGuire. That's like the Ninja Turtles losing to Mickey Mouse. That's like Naruto losing to Aladdin. Man, what the fuck? That's a shame, man, but you know what? I figured that's what I called it. I called it in that last video. He was gonna get his ass whooped, and all y'all people talking about, oh, Tyron, all this experience, like the great Roger Mayweather said, don't know shit about boxing. Y'all don't know shit. Don't know shit about boxing. Man, and yo, to be honest, man, I thought Jake would actually look a lot more dominant than he did. I mean, his victory was convincing and all, but I think I would just attribute that to the fact that Jake is a baby in boxing. He still has a lot of growing to do, and plus he's really young. As opposed to Tyron, what we saw of Tyron, that's it. He's plateaued. That's who he is, and that's what he is as a fighter. That's what he is as a boxer, and then when we saw his last fights in the UFC, that's what he is. I mean, he's 39, 40, which isn't old, but as far as fighting and stuff like that, that's pretty old. And we've seen that he has plateaued. That's it. There is no getting better. Whereas Jake, on the other hand, he will be improving. If they had a rematch, it's just gonna look worse, you know what I mean? Jake is just gonna whoop his ass even worse than the first time, you know what I mean? Whereas Tyron's just gonna stay stagnant. You know, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. He's either gonna look worse or he's just gonna be stagnant and look the same. That's how it's gonna be. I mean, that's how it's gonna be, and it's crazy too, cause Tyron, shit, he was selling that. You know, what's up with brothers, yo? What's up with brothers? Always gotta talk about where they from, what hood they from. Man, Ferguson, nigga, Chi-Town, nigga, the Bronx, nigga, Brooklyn, nigga, Compton, nigga, Houston, nigga. It don't matter, nigga. It don't matter. It doesn't matter, nigga. See, the thing is, like I said in another video, warriors come from all walks of life, man. They come from all walks of life. Warriors come from the hood, and yes, warriors come from the picket fence suburbs. They do. Spoiled brat warriors, poor, struggling warriors. Warriors come from all walks of life. Yeah, Stanley from the suburbs that had both of his parents. Yeah, he could kick Tyron's ass. You know, the big swell Tyron that grew up in the trenches, in the streets, in and out of juvie. It don't matter. It really doesn't matter. So all of this, I don't know why Tyron was, you know, really kept on. He's done that a lot too in these last fights, really harping on the I'm from Ferguson. All right, man, we get it. You know, people got to struggle in life, but at the end of the day, it doesn't. You need to be. He focusing all the shit a whole bunch of shit that don't matter. You focus on where this guy is, and this guy is a Disney character and a YouTuber and all this stuff. Certain things aren't mutually exclusive. You know, a person, that's another thing I notice about people in general. They like to say, all right, this person's done this, or they come from this area, so they can't do this, or they're not capable of doing anything else. People are not just one thing. I mean, a lot of people are. I mean, there are some pretty narrow, boring people, I guess, that don't have a lot to offer. But then there are people out here that can do many things, you know, multi-talented people. Yes, a person can be an actress or an actor, you know, be on YouTube, or they can be Disney stars or whatnot, but guess what? They can also be fighters, they can be basketball players, they can be many things, you know, and you getting so caught up in all that other stuff, it's taken away from your ability to be able to train and focus and work and think about what actually matters, which is being able to devise a strategy or develop skills that could potentially whoop this kid's ass. But guess what? You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it to Jake Paul, and you couldn't do it in your last MMA fights. Come on. And y'all letting these dudes play y'all like suckers, and man, what's going on? Ambulance and stuff. Please tell me where you're from. Nigga, I'm from. It doesn't matter where you're from. I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to say that, but you know, The Rock was right. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're training your ass off to kick that motherfucker's ass. And I don't know, I mean, Tyron, you were in there, you know, you're trying to train, but guess what? It must have been something else going on, man. You focusing on too many other things. I mean, honestly, I'll give it to you, though. It looked like you was trying to take it seriously, but I guess at the end of the day, you've just plateaued. It's the end of the road for you. Everybody was trying to sell it like Tyron was this, you know, this prolific striker. He was never a prolific striker. I mean, I hate to break that to you, but he was never a prolific striker. He was a wrestler with the overhand. That's all he was. You know, that's how he called Robbie Lawler. That's how he called Josh Koscheck. That's how he called a lot of guys. It's just, you know, throw a punch out there, come over the top. That's it. He was never putting combos together. And now, when you take out all the other factors, the knees, the kicks, the takedowns, you really get to see, man, just how much he really does suck. Because a lot of times people, they get so caught up, he got the knockout. A lot of people get knockouts, man. A lot of people can land knockouts. Well, you get, that's why, it's so common for MMA fighters to have losses on their records. Like boxers, they can go undefeated for a long ass time. They can, because it's less weapons involved. You know, in MMA, there's more ways to lose. You got elbows, knees, kicks, and all that stuff. All right, so yeah, it's more ways to lose, obviously, but there's also more ways to win as well. You know, so it's easier to lose, but it's also easier to land knockouts and stuff because there's so much going on. I mean, we've seen complete shit strikers still land knockouts. I mean, haven't we? I mean, they talk about Jake Paul, he a troll, he's a sucker and this and that. No, y'all the suckers. He playing all of y'all. He getting paid hella money. And I don't really want to talk about the getting paid, because that's another thing that's kind of annoying nowadays. Everybody talking about pay this. And that's like the convenient cop-out. So even if you get your ass kicked, well, at least I got paid. No, you got your ass whooped. I got paid, and you got your ass whooped. Come on, man. Like, what happened to the days where, I mean, winning the fights actually meant something? And I'm getting sick of that cop-out. You know, like, you go out there, get your ass whooped, as well, you just got paid. Okay, as a fan, what the fuck do I care how much these motherfuckers is getting paid? I ain't getting that money. As a fan, you should be worried about seeing some action. You should be more concerned about your guy winning. Now, obviously, the fighters have to care to some extent how much they're getting paid, right? No one wants to do anything for free and things like that. But it's swaying far to the, what do you call it? It's swaying too much to a side where everyone's just focusing too much on money. What the fuck is going on? I mean, don't you care about losing? I mean, if that's the case, man, I might as well become a fighter and just lose all my fucking fights. But as long as I can promote a fight, you know what I mean? Talk shit, you know, get everybody all hyped up, man, generate a lot of revenue, whatever, then bam, you know, I'm getting paid and shit. Like, that's defeated the point of being an athlete. At the end of the day, it's about winning. Yeah, you want to get paid, but you want to win as well. Come on. I mean, come on. You know, some things like if I felt like this guy, a lot of these fighters, they want to talk about, man, I can really kick his ass, and they're tired of him disrespecting the sport and this and that. Well, if you really felt that way, you should be like, all right. I remember Robert Whittaker said this, and I like that he said this. He said, I fight him for less. I fight him for $500,000 or whatever. That's the mentality y'all should have. You know, every fight don't need to be a jackpot fight. You know, some fights should be based on principle, kicking somebody's ass on principle alone. You know, if y'all really feel like this guy's obnoxious, he's a sucker or whatnot, then y'all shouldn't be like, if y'all say, all right, listen, I'll give you $10,000 to whoop this guy's ass. Hey, jump for it. Why not? Beat his ass. And if he really a scrub, if he really can't fight, you ain't got nothing to lose anyway. A lot of people say, well, I mean, you know, we're putting our lives on the line here. You know, we got to get it compensated for. We need a lot of money. Well, if this guy's a scrub-ass fighter, what are you afraid of? Your health? You know what I mean? You should kick his ass. You shouldn't be losing anything. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, the little let's get paid thing, you know, whatever, man. I get it. Fuck it. Whatever. Matter of fact, I don't get it, but still fuck it. You know what I mean? But yep, I called it. I said Tyron was gonna lose. He ended up losing. And I want to say this too. I want to say this. Jake Paul is far from being one of the top boxers on the planet right now. He's far from it. Far from it. He's a very good, I think he's shown that he's a pretty good boxer. You know, he has skills, but he's in no way near, like he's nowhere near the caliber of a lot of these really, really good boxers. And he still beat Tyron Woodley. So what does that say about Tyron Woodley's boxing skills? It says that they're bad. They're really bad. All right, that you're losing to a guy that isn't even the top of the echelon. Okay, so that's a good way to kind of illustrate my point that I said, that I made in another video about MMA fighters not being able to box. Yes, there's some that can box, but not many, and Tyron is one of the not many. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the fight. I feel like if MMA fighters want to cross over to boxing, hey, get some real MMA fighters that actually know how to fucking box. Anderson Silva, he held it down for MMA. Like, guys like that, all right? Stop sending all these fucking wrestlers and shit out there to try to hold it down for MMA. Ridiculous. Anyway, peace out.